This person is one of the 3 goddesses of South Capital Academy, and he successfully lasted 3 minutes under the goddess's control. As the disaster in Shaolin is resolved, frontline personnel of the Academy of Transcendence usher in a shining moment. And this crew-cut man is his older brother. Wang Jia became extremely excited upon seeing the situation. After all, the entire school is talking about them. At this moment, Zhang Yuan taunted Li Jin. "You must be very comfortable this time doing odd jobs in the rear." Upon hearing this, Li Jin started making sarcastic remarks, saying, "Your brother being commended on TV has nothing to do with you." This statement made him very angry, and it seemed like the two of them were about to fight. Fortunately, Wang Jia intervened in time and redirected their attention. "Have you packed up all your things? It's time for outdoor operations. Similar to military training in college, you wouldn't forget, right?" Zhang Yuan remembered after listening and realized he hadn't started preparing his luggage yet, so he got up and left. Bright River, being a good student, had already prepared everything early. In addition, his goddess also received recognition. As the second day arrived, today's class was not boring. After official negotiations with the academy, it was decided to designate Shaolin as the site for this field operation. This hottie expressed that not only are there a lot of mosquitoes and bugs in that place, but she also has to stay in a farmhouse. "Can we not go?" The teacher then warned them. This wilderness operation is not a leisurely autumn outing. According to the message from the Hunter Association, Shaolin may still have eggs laid by the red beast. With some luck, you might even encounter the red beast. Although all adult red beasts have been eliminated, those beast eggs are a great hidden danger. So, this Shaolin wilderness battle is of great significance to you. As a transcendenter, you should not disdain this kind of work that benefits society. If you discover any omissions regarding the red beast, remember to report to me at the first time. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuan is excited. If we can find and eliminate a red beast, we may even receive recognition and appear on TV. Before the end of the class, there is one more thing. It's said that Fang Yanrong in our class has performed well in the frontline reserve team and received praise from higher-ups. Then let her serve as the class monitor. I will select other class committee members based on their performance in the future. As the dismissal bell rang, everyone hurried back to pack up their things. Bright River took out the cell phone and found that there was a missed call from Aurelia Lowe. So the two agreed to meet at the coffee shop. The two people behind them heard and became uneasy. "I didn't expect that Bright River already has a girlfriend." "Not bad, you little guy. You have a girlfriend but didn't tell us. Are you afraid that we will steal her from you?" "Come on." His voice on the phone is so gentle. "Tell us, have you two developed to that extent? If you don't tell us, there must be something fishy." But he simply says that you are just ordinary friends, hiding his good deeds. At least you are still friends. It's okay to occasionally hang out. What would your reaction be if the goddess licked herself? The guy says he feels nothing. What's going on exactly? He was just out of class when he was asked out by the goddess to meet at a coffee shop. Although he wasn't sure what she wanted, he still agreed. When the two of them found out that the girl who turned down Bright River was looking for him, they couldn't help but burst into laughter. After chatting for a while, it turns out he is a licking dog. Be careful not to become the rebound guy. Bright River didn't stay long, instructing the two of them to take his books back to the dorm for him. He then went to his date. But judging from the expressions of the two, things are not that simple. The two turned and asked Li Jin if she wanted to go together to see Bright River. Looking like a licked dog, Li Jin disdainfully responded, "I want to go back to study. If I get good grades next semester, I won't be able to see you guys anymore." A dog's mouth cannot spit out ivory. You are just uneducated. At this moment, Wang Jia is caught in the middle and feeling very helpless. These two people might have been enemies from past lives. Who knows if they desecrated each other's ancestors' graves? Don't be angry. After trying to reason with them, they finally didn't lose touch with Bright River. The scene shifts to a coffee shop. The two are chatting casually in the coffee shop. Because Aurelia Lowe had just returned from the front line, he asked her if she had been injured. Knowing that she hadn't even lost a single hair, he instantly felt relieved. But after chatting for a while, Aurelia Lowe still didn't mention anything that she needed to talk to him about. He then proceeded to launch a direct soul-searching. This made her feel a bit embarrassed that she seemed too proactive, always being the one to reach out to him. And Bright River, this guy, not calling even once since starting school is one thing, but now speaking in a strange manner, makes her doubt if they are really in a relationship. In subsequent casual conversations, she learned that she will be serving as the teaching assistant for this freshman field training experience. At that time, she will go to Shaolin together, while her two roommates behind her overheard and found out that the goddess is actually a fellow student at Bright River. Bright River breathed a sigh of relief after hearing that. That's great. I can see you more often then. Aurelia Lowe thought he had seen the light, and asked if he wanted to go see a movie. After all, he had been on the front lines for 10 days, and needed to relax a bit. The two of them listened but didn't believe it. The goddess would never ask him out first. Bright River disagreed, saying, I can recommend a comedy to you. I heard it has a high Rotten Tomatoes rating. She asked softly, Do you have something on your mind? Bright River still didn't think there was anything major going on, just some training as usual. This made Aurelia Lowe feel half-hearted. But she also felt that Bright River might be too male-chauvinistic, so she asked again, Can you come watch a movie with me? Bright River responded with 2 words. Just 2 words made both of them very upset. His goddess actually asked him to watch a movie together. Watching their departing figures made both of them extremely angry. I did see the promised licking dog here, but this licking dog turned out to be a goddess. It's just not fair. I also want to be licked by a goddess. Suddenly, wails filled the cafe. This man, for some reason, even when his girlfriend is sitting across from him, he doesn't recognize her as his girlfriend. He still thinks they are just ordinary friends. The scene shifts to the next day, with fresh air, sunny weather. It's a good day for field operations. Because of the good road conditions, the freshmen arrived smoothly at the field location. The locals from Shaolin were very welcoming, and came out to greet them with baskets of fruits. Not long after, Fang Yanrong told Bright River that the teacher wanted to see you. This made him feel puzzled. Not familiar with the teacher himself, why would the teacher want to see him? And the teachers are all at the front of the line. Leading the way is none other than Dean Ming, who also holds the position of Vice Dean of Banyan Institute. As Bright River came over, he had Bright River go to the instructor group. The dean couldn't figure it out. Why would the official people find a student? Bright River came to the instructor group and found a familiar figure here. It turns out that Commander Loris has also arrived. We learn from Commander Loris that she comes to South Capital Academy every year to lecture. After all, the task of protecting freshmen is important to oneself. So it's like a short vacation. The strength of Bright River and the identities of the members of the Dragon's Teeth group are more than enough to serve as instructors for this group of newcomers. But he didn't ask Bright River to come over to serve as an instructor. Instead, he wants him to explain the specific situation of the Dragon's Teeth group. Although each member of the Dragon's Teeth group is independent and free, the Dragon's Teeth is a highly hierarchical organization. We are not some small miscellaneous group. Every year, outstanding transcendenters who want to join the Dragon's Teeth need to circle South Capital 3 times. According to Bright River's current Dragon's Teeth level, they have B-level clearance. B-level clearance grants the authority to command the execution region. Official reserve personnel from the school must obey deployments. Frontline combat personnel within their designated execution area must also follow the arrangements. The execution region refers to the area where tasks are being carried out. For example, if the mission is received in Shaolin, then Shaolin is the execution region. Currently, Bright River has 2 tasks. The first task is to ensure the safety of students during the field operation. Bright River is very willing to do so. Even if there were no such task, he would still protect everyone. The second task is quite special, so it was not mentioned. After assigning the task of Bright River, he went back. Soon, everyone arrived at a small hill in the Shaolin battlefield area, causing 2 female classmates to complain for a while. In the end, there was no farmhouse to stay in. Where would they go to take a shower? The teacher, seeing the students being reminded, said, "Later, an instructor will come to explain wilderness warfare knowledge. Be sure to study it carefully." Whether boys study or not doesn't matter. The key point is that they can see the goddess. And over on the Bright River side, they had already set up the tents early and sprinkled insect repellent powder. The instructor was also not idle, teaching everyone how to set up defense lines against wild animals. The spicy girl heard that it was about defending against wild animals, and said Transcendentor is not afraid of that. But if the wild animal eats the flesh of the deceased calamity beast, there is a possibility of evolutionary mutation. After all, he has seen a 10-meter-tall mutated bear with his own eyes. After a freshman arrives at the training location, the instructor began to explain wilderness survival knowledge. After some understanding, everyone started to act one after another. Night fell quickly. Everyone lit a fire and Loris, the commander, talked about her most terrifying experience in her free time. At that time, she was still a student when the city was invaded by meteors which brought forth a calamity beast as huge as a mountain range. Even though it was dozens of miles away from her, she was still very scared because it was a king-level calamity beast. Now, that city has been abandoned for many years, and has become the nest of calamity beasts. The battle led to the sacrifice of many transcendent leaders, including a dean from South Capital Academy. She hoped that one day a transcendent would end all of this. The first night of the wilderness training went exceptionally smoothly, and it was time for the scheduled meeting. Everyone started their morning run, with this person carrying a short sword on their leg. An older sister with thick and beautiful hair. She is the morning jogging instructor Bright River, who is also in this team. This training content is very simple. Just follow instructor Miaolon. It's okay if you fall behind, there are teachers following behind. This is all for now. She carried her 2 large watermelons on her chest, and left with great pride. At this time, the battlefield of Shaolin saw many more people's figures. They climbed over steep rock formations and dense forests, learning how to leap off cliffs like Tibetan antelopes. This is for a small number of outstanding individuals. No problem. Most students can't do it. What's the difference between this and jumping off a building? Subsequently, those with exceptional abilities will progress more quickly. They managed to get through with the help of the dark stone, while the rest of the autumn group started playing in the river. After 5 people ran to a hillside, the female instructor stopped. Li Jin then expressed that she could endure for a long time and didn't need to stop intentionally. But most of the students couldn't hold on anymore and still need to take a break. Just when they were resting, Fang Yinrong found it surprising that Bright River hadn't broken a sweat. In his heart, he secretly thought, this distance can't even be considered a stroll. After waiting for 5 minutes, the main force behind finally appeared. I'm more curious about Zhang Yuan. What brand of slippers is this? It's not just durable. Without waiting for their reaction, the female instructor moved again. After the morning run ended, everyone returned to the camp. The earliest returnees, like them, were the top students in other classes. In Li Jin's view, it is very normal. Almost the top 3 students from each city study at the Academy of Transcendence. Liang Dong sat down leaning against a rock and said, these days, those who are not the top scholars, 2nd place, or 3rd place feel embarrassed to mix here. I am from Lu City. What about you all? After a brief chat with a few people, the camp is filled with aromatic scents. It looks like one can have a satisfying meal. After everyone finished breakfast, They then began to make a beeline for their battlefield training theme. From the route map's perspective, it is definitely not simple. This person not only has explosive strength, he also successfully joined a highly prestigious and mysterious organization. But he insists on going to college. What experiences will a freshman have as a first-year college student? As everyone finished breakfast, Commander Loris began to issue the first task. The task was to conduct a carpet search within a radius of 1 kilometer along the route of the morning run. Do not overlook any tree holes, burrows, or caves to ensure all beast eggs are cleared. If any omissions are found, do not act on your own if a red beast is discovered. You must go to the designated location to launch a signal flare for reporting. The dean immediately said, "The results of this field training will be recorded as credits." Upon hearing these words, everyone was motivated. When they see the red beast, they must take action on their own. Before setting off, everyone is busy devising their own search plans for their teams. Li Jin adjusted his glasses and said, "I've done my homework. The group of red eyes calamity beasts like damp and densely bushy areas. There is a particularly thick bush on our morning run route. We can go there." After this analysis, he gained 2 young fans directly. I didn't expect Brother Li Jin to be so meticulous. So everyone set off towards the bushes downstream of the river. Because the bushes were long and dense, this student was about to use a spiritual skill to clear the way, but was stopped by Bright River, who advised saving spiritual skills for later use. Before the sentence was finished, Li Jin interrupted, saying, "You can use it as you please. As long as Red Beast dares to come, I will messily kill it. The one mowing grass is the tool man, Stonehammer." Fong Yinrong saw that Bright River hadn't finished speaking, so he curiously asked him. Bright River then explained that if there were a red eyes calamity beast, they would have already exposed themselves by clearing the grass, which would scare off the calamity beast. He then smiled slightly, saying that it didn't matter because the chances were too small, especially since the instructors had already cleaned up in advance. He noticed that Fong Yinrong didn't believe him. He then analyzed, "When the instructors lead us for morning runs, not only do they provide clear routes, but they also lead us straight back to the camp without taking detours. Clearly, while we were asleep at night, the instructor ran through the route and checked the surroundings. Since it has already been checked, why are they asking us to find a hammer? I have also done my homework. Red eyes calamity beasts' insect eggs are not big. I suspect the instrument cannot scan them." He stopped at this moment. He was very certain and said, "This place definitely hasn't been checked by the instructor." Regarding Fong Yinrong's doubts, he said helplessly, "Are you blind? Look at what this is, Bright River." Just as he was about to raise his hand to punch it, it slipped away very quickly. Just as he was about to chase after Bright River, a series of wails came from behind, originating from the direction of Li Jin and the others. It looks like something has happened. And they did not encounter the red beast, but instead stabbed the red beast's nest and were scared. Upon Fong Yinrong's arrival, they immediately confessed about missing the red beast. Li Jin hurriedly asked where it was. This was a great opportunity to make a meritorious achievement. But Bright River disagrees. The situation here is serious. We must inform the instructor. The 2 of them started quarreling like this just because they couldn't agree. Indeed, even if the teammates wanted to stop it, they couldn't. These 2 freshmen started quarreling over a small matter. This person advocates sacrificing oneself, while the other one is more composed, advocating to call their dads to come over and fight together as a group. After all, this way is more stable. The squad leader Fong Yinrong, considering everyone's safety, approves Bright River's approach of calling Li Jin, the dad, to come. When the squad leader acknowledged this, he stopped arguing and instructed, "If you're going, just go quickly. Don't make me lose my credits." At this point, Bright River did not hold back. He quickly arrived at the designated location and launched a signal flare. As the faint blue fire burst open, the nearby instructors quickly arrived here upon hearing the news. Bright River quickly explained the ins and outs when they saw someone approaching. But cries for help were heard coming from the rear. Let him run back early. The reluctant instructor had to stay here waiting for the other instructors, while Bright River, who went back alone, didn't run for long. He encountered a red beast attack. And it's not just one red beast, because this is a camper Bright River who has not noticed. Camper seizes the opportunity to bite its butt. Bright River grabs Camper and directly knocks the other one to death. I really admire you, Camper. Another punch smashes this camper to pieces. From the current situation, it is very likely that this is a hidden nest that frontline personnel have not discovered. Afterwards, he ran all the way here following the sound of the distress call, only to find that there was no one here. However, the appearance of the red eyes calamity beast that followed surprised him. It could actually speak human language. Bright River remained calm upon seeing this, and prepared to fight back aggressively. However, an unexpected situation occurred as a group of campers appeared, causing the fixed vines to be bitten off. I really admire those campers. Bright River fell into a huge pit, but remained calm as he tugged on his clothes. I've seen this scene before. But it's the first time I've seen a whole family bucket being sent. While Bright River was trapped in the pit, there was thunder and lightning outside, followed by rain and fog. Loris felt a sense of inexplicable fear when he saw this. The instructor beside him said, "It's damp in the mountains." It is very normal for fog to appear in broad daylight. She woke up as if being awakened. This is not ordinary mist, but a deadly red mist. All students must be evacuated immediately to the other side. 3 more instructors have arrived at the Bright River signal point. At that moment, an urgent instruction came from the camp ordering them to evacuate immediately. Teacher Zhong, who was unaware of the situation, anxiously said, "Let's go save people quickly." Upon learning that a disaster of greater than magnitude 6 was approaching, he was momentarily panicked. Aurelia Lowe suggested that everyone split into 4 groups to search for other students, while she herself went to find the Bright River group. Aurelia Lowe could only shout the name Bright River loudly, and the Bright River group inside the cave would respond loudly once they heard it. Aurelia Lowe felt slightly relieved upon learning that Bright River was still alive. Can she find this scumbag? What does a man in a deep pit plus a woman equal to? Then you must definitely cultivate immortality properly. But he asked Aurelia Lowe not to walk in his direction anymore. It's easy to get into trouble if a man and a woman are left alone. He also instructed her to go save others, indicating that the red eyes calamity beast here is enough for him alone. She closed her eyes and thought for a moment, then decided to follow Bright River's arrangements, instructing him to be careful. You can rest assured, even if you die, I will not die. He couldn't help but feel scared when he looked at the leader of this red beast. This is no ordinary calamity beast. It excels in imitating, luring enemies, and setting traps. Now it plans to use its minions to deplete their energy before launching an attack. But Bright River is no ordinary student. His speed is beyond the red beast's imagination. If you only have these minor minions, you better go back and get some rest early. With a punch, he blasted out. Red Beast's sister is completely unable to hold back. Looking at its broken eggs, it got angry. Its screams echoed throughout the cave for a moment. I don't know from where, many little red beasts appeared. I said, "I will kill as many of your little brothers as you bring." Afterwards, it grabbed the vines on the ground and crazily absorbed the essence of plants. Seeing everything ready, it directly punched towards the ground. Vine Bind spiritual punch struck the ground, and vines scattered in all directions, tying up the little red beast one by one. I didn't use much force at first, just to capture all of you at once. Bright River immediately launches the strangling kill. The little red beasts all perish together. The red beast looked at the scene in front of him, and his body couldn't stop trembling. It immediately launched a desperate fight, but Bright River was not going to let it off easily. He threw a punch right at the opponent's abdomen, and the beast flew directly backwards, crashing into the wall. As the saying goes, family members should stick together neatly. A series of knocking sounds could be heard coming from within the cave. The red-eyed calamity beast was dead to the core. After finding a water source to clean up the bloodstains, he threw out the vines and prepared to leave the cave. With the activation of the spiritual skill from the vines, he was pulled up. In this journey, he discovered that these eggs were not meant for reproduction, but to mix the extraterrestrial gas inside the beast egg with rainwater to create these terrifying calamities. Once Shaoling is completely shrouded, everyone will die in this mist disaster. Most people are running towards the safety margin. They were very fortunate to see the shadow of the safety fence. Only a distance of 200 meters nearly made them all run and throw up. Finally, they arrived at the border, but they found out this was not the safety border, but they were back at the Shaoling forest. At this moment, Li Jin remembered what his brother had said. He heard that in the red mist, it was like being isolated in another dimension where one could never escape. What will be the fate of these remaining people? These students because of an unknown disaster. They are isolated in the woods and cannot get out. The instructor at the safety boundary wondered. Just now there were students running towards here. Why did they all disappear? Hearing this, others also noticed something was wrong and shouted into the mist. Seeing no response at all, the suggestion was made for me to go ahead and explore the road. However, the female instructor, worried about his safety, tied a rope around him to ensure his safety. The male instructor, seeing the situation, advised him to remember to shout loudly and pull the rope if there was any danger. As the leader, he slowly let out the rope. At this moment, there is already over 200 meters of rope out and no further progress. This gave everyone a bad feeling. No matter how they shouted, there was still no response from the depths of the fog. There's definitely a problem with this. Hurry up and pull him back. Not pulling, not knowing. Once pulled, startled. Where did this person go? The mist is indeed as rumored. No one has ever come out alive. At the same time, in Bright River surrounded by the mist, he found his long-lost classmate. According to their description, they came here because they heard a girl scream. It seems they didn't know that the leader of the Red Beast can mimic voices. While informing them, he also asked if anyone had called out. Upon hearing this, a girl stepped forward, stammering as she admitted that she had called out. That's right, the Red Beast heard your call and started imitating it. Li Jin listened and was not happy. This is not only not written in the book, but frontline combat personnel have also not discovered it. Your conclusion is not valid. Aurelia Lowe, as a frontline personnel, did mention this, but did not receive accurate evidence to support it. Just as Liang Dong took out his phone to contact the instructors and teachers, he found that his phone had absolutely no signal. It seems that the mist does indeed have the function of blocking signals. Just at that moment, the communicator on Bright River's chest suddenly rang. Li Jin was taken aback by this. Isn't this an official special communicator? I've only seen instructors with this thing. Where did you get it, Bright River? But Bright River paid no attention to it. I learned it from Commander Loris. Most of the people have been officially evacuated, but many teachers and students are still trapped in the fog. Bright River was a little puzzled. You were near the camp at the time, so you should have been able to get out. How come you're still trapped here? She said firmly. As the commander of this expedition, I will definitely find a way out for everyone. And there are other instructors who have stayed behind. Bright River then mentioned she made a major discovery, but its impact may not be significant at the moment. Commander Loris looked through the blank files on the red mist with a look of powerlessness, gritting his teeth as he said, We mustn't overlook any clues. The formation of this red mist is related to the Red Beast, Calamity Beast, and Beast Egg. When the exotic gas inside it comes into contact with rainwater, it releases a new gas. The formation of this new gas is the cause of the red mist. She suddenly realized after hearing this. Excitedly she said, Maybe there is hope to find a way out of the mist after all. This is a disaster with no survivors. the instinct-driven commander, who left to escape, resolutely stayed behind in order to give everyone hope of surviving. Because of the crucial intelligence obtained from Bright River, the commander figured out a way out. Bright River hastily asked her. Commander Loris explained immediately that at the Insect Research Institute, there is a missing giant human-faced centipede, which is the only creature that has escaped from the mist. According to the Research Institute's data, this centipede loves to eat insect eggs. So it is highly likely that it has eaten a large number of beast eggs and gained the ability to shuttle through the fog. Does that mean we should also eat that thing? How is that possible? The beast egg is poisonous. Only this kind of poison can be digested. And in the subsequent tracking, this centipede is in Shaoling and is highly likely to be in the mist. Upon hearing this, Bright River guessed something. Are you suggesting that if we find the centipede, we might be able to use it to escape from here? In that case, he decided to do it right away. Just then, many familiar figures appeared not far away. Liang Dong saw Teacher Zhong, and they quickly asked what to do next. Regarding the red mist that the astronomy group couldn't explain, Teacher Zhong can figure it out despite being puzzled. What else can be done? There is no way. Liang Dong was puzzled after listening. Is there really no way at all? I think we can still try to salvage the situation. But the teacher is very clear that no one has been reported to have survived in the red mist so far. Instead of hoping for the best outside, it's more practical to go find some good wood and make a coffin. Bright River saw everyone so negative and quickly told Commander Loris to come up with a plan. Aurelia Lowe, seeing the situation, echoed that this is true. Bright River then took the opportunity to instruct everyone to collect beast eggs that have not melted. Li Jin, this guy, was unwilling again, saying why bother collecting those things when we are almost dead. Upon hearing this, everyone was puzzled. Bright River explained that the beast egg is used to lure a creature that can lead us out. As Bright River explained everything thoroughly, everyone started to group up and take action. Aurelia Lowe and Teacher Zhong were responsible for continuing to search for other classmates. Li Jin is the most suitable for finding the beast egg because he has done his homework on it. Bright River has only one requirement, and that is the better, so that the probability of the centipede appearing is higher. And Bright River is responsible for dealing with the creatures in the mist. Once this was said, Liang Dong looked around in fear. When will you stop scaring me? Unfortunately, Bright River did not scare everyone. There are indeed some creatures in the mist, and Fang Yanrong has seen them with his own eyes. In conclusion, if anyone is fortunate enough to encounter them, be sure to stay away. A disaster where no one survives unexpectedly requires relying on a centipede to have hope for survival, with everyone's tasks appropriately assigned. As everyone started to carry out their respective duties, I am curious about the size of this sister. The scene shifts to Bright River, where she is swiftly shuttling through the forest. He did not notice any anomalies. Commander Loris, based on the existing information, has some ideas, so he connected with everyone on the microphone. Please reply upon hearing this, all combat personnel. From the replies, it appears that among them is Zhu 7, the sunglass-wearing guy from the instructor group. Serious and earnest Qing He. Miaolon, the sister with 2 watermelons on her chest. Mysteriously confident Jing Xing. Pitifully charming Fang Qin. Shining bald Gai Guanming. Dragon's Teeth group, with not even all the hair grown. Upon hearing this, a sister is no longer calm. The young man who can't sweat during his morning run. I didn't expect he is a member of the Dragon's Teeth group. After listening, Loris opened the alien distribution detector. And the blue dots on the screen are the positions of Bright River. Just when she was relieved not to find Calamity Beast, they appeared, 3 of them at once. Bright River saw that she suddenly fell silent and quickly asked her what was wrong. Currently, a misty Calamity Beast has appeared on the river upstream and on the mountaintop in Long Valley. But what's strange is that just a few seconds ago, there were clearly no misty creatures in the area. Bright River asked again from which direction the monster came. But she was also unsure. It would be more accurate to say that it appeared out of nowhere rather than coming over. Just then, she noticed that there was a large calamity beast near instructor Fong Qin. So she urged her to run quickly. But it was too late as Fong Qin and calamity beast had already collided. She noticed the anomaly behind her and turned around, directly using the transcendence power. I have to say, this little thing looks really unique as it stares at these sharp weapons. It shows disdain and allows the weapons to strike it. Just these few seconds. She is already very clear. This guy is definitely not someone she can handle on her own, so she scampered away. While running, she analyzed. They did indeed appear out of thin air. There must be some kind of teleportation passage in the mist. She saw that Fong Qin was fine and reminded him. Run outside the woods. But she realized that outside the woods was the campsite. She continued to provide information about the alien species, which is in the form of a spider and has the strength of a high-level lord. I'm afraid I am not a match for it. Loris was getting anxious because the more she ran, the further she ran into the depths of the forest. It's just her choice. After all, outside the forest is the camp. The appearance of such a huge creature will definitely result in bloodshed at the camp. May I allow you to act on your own? I came out without waiting for her to finish speaking. The pitiful Fong Qin, the instructor, has disappeared from the screen. At this moment, Instructor Loris couldn't help but shed tears. As the giant calamity beast was lured away, the situation over there was temporarily safe. She instructed that once the calamity beast approached the students' gathering point, it must be killed, especially that one make sure to get rid of it. With the sacrifice of Fong Qin, the Transcendenter, the crisis in the forest was successfully resolved. Bright River, sitting on the ground at Long Valley, was rapidly organizing all information related to the Red Mist Calamity Beast. Currently, there is a charming female monster. There is a snake person who can speak, as well as a higher-ranking Lord-level Calamity Beast that harmed the Fong Qin instructor. It is said to be a spider-type Calamity Beast with sores on its back. Their terrifying aspects lie not in their strength, but in their intelligence. They have the ability to learn, and now is the time. Something has appeared to the west of him. This is just a calamity. The scorpion-tailed fly is just a calamity beast at the servant level. Commander Loris found it. If the screen displays more than just one bright river, it means it's impossible. I just checked a few seconds ago. It's impossible, absolutely impossible. But when they all appear, well, forget about it. Scum at the servant level, kill as many as you want. The scorpion-tailed fly disagrees and lifts its little butt towards Bright River. Bright River sees the situation. She raises her hand, and a burst of fist strength erupts. Then let you see how big the gap between us is. And this is what I learned from Fig's swift shadow fist that directly took out an area. The remaining scorpion-tailed flies sees the situation. They raise their little butts one after another, ready to launch a fierce attack on Bright River. Before he could think too much, the scorpion-tailed fly swooped down directly at Bright River, who saw no way to dodge it. He threw a punch towards the ground, causing a gust of sand and stones to fly up, with blood and flesh flying everywhere. It's a horrifying sight. When the dust cleared, Bright River was not only surrounded by many corpses. It also gathered many more scorpion-tailed flies. Commander Loris immediately indicated that these scorpion-tailed flies are likely unstoppable. Bright River discovered that they can track themselves by scent, and they are constantly pouring towards her. After several observations, she found that these scorpion-tailed flies all flew out from fixed locations. And this place is below Bright River. Bright River listened thoughtfully, with dozens of creatures around itself. Wouldn't there be hundreds over there? Loris quickly denied him, because you clean fast enough, so the number of dozens has been maintained over there. This made Bright River shudder behind. If you run for a few hours yourself, the valley will have thousands of scorpion-tailed flies. By then, not to mention living beings, even the grass will be gnawed clean. And not far from the valley is the camp where everyone gathers. Even so, the crisis in Long Valley now. Only Bright River can solve the crisis in Long Valley now. After all, other instructors are facing similar troubles and requires Loris to switch channels to command. Although Bright River has no complaints and claims that the problem here is not significant, Loris still feels guilty for letting a freshman bear such a heavy responsibility, which should not be the case. She does not want to leave any regrets. She represents the official to pay tribute to him in advance. Of course, she hopes that Bright River will return safely. In a terrible disaster, due to insufficient manpower. As a freshman, he took on the important duty of guarding this place. This made the commander feel extremely guilty, knowing that he would very likely die, but still unable to provide support. He simply said that he would take care of things here by himself, reassuring that they would all die. He was seen rushing off and charging into the group of calamity beasts. At this moment, he was like possessed by a war god. He stood tall among the group of monsters, as immovable as a mountain, as dynamic as thunder. With a raise of his hand, numerous punches were unleashed. Waves of spiritual punch swept through the entire venue. Then, there were bodies everywhere as the monsters finished their eradication. He quickly arrived at the so-called teleportation channel. Before he could step forward, another group of calamity beasts, the scorpion-tailed fly, rushed out from inside in a flood, but their appearance also brought swirling cyclones at the same time. It seems like I can use that move myself now. He stepped forward. He raised his hand and clenched it, gathering strength. A hurricane fist struck in an instant. All the scorpion-tailed flies around were thrown away in an instant. Their bodies were in ruins. Bathed in the rain of calamity beast, countless bodies fell. Bright River did not linger for long and headed straight toward the teleportation channel. That's enough. Turn off the BGM for me. It's a bit embarrassing. Why didn't I hear the BGM? Shortly after, Bright River started studying the teleportation channel. After observing, the back of this teleportation channel is empty, but many monsters can emerge from the front. Clearly, this is beyond human cognition. Just at this moment, a scorpion-tailed fly swiftly flew out. But Bright River paid no attention. Instead, she continued to ponder. This is probably not a nest of worms, but a passage through another dimension to the mist. In that case, the spider with sores on its back is most likely also coming from another passage. This made him very curious. Since it is connected to another space, what could be there? So he entered without hesitation. He quickly disappeared from Earth. At this moment, on the other side, a head popped out. Bright River, unsurprisingly, arrived in another world. However, the scene here shocked his pupils. In this world, spiders with sores on their backs, known as the calamity beasts, are everywhere. The ground here is suspended in midair. The brown mountains contrast sharply with the golden dawn light. Like hell in heaven, as if it will be swallowed up in the next second. In addition to these, there are also dragon-like calamity beasts, each one at Lord level. This is not the most terrifying existence. At this moment, not far away, a huge creature emerged, making the dragon-like calamity beasts tremble. From a distance, this calamity beast's body is tens to hundreds of times larger than the dragon-type calamity beasts, scaring them into avoiding it. Meanwhile, Bright River below is staring blankly, dare not breathe, afraid of disturbing them. In the northern ocean, there is a fish named kun. The kun is so enormous, it cannot be cooked in a single pot. He was really scared by this enormous creature that one couldn't finish eating in 10 lifetimes. In the belly of the enormous creature, several green pieces suddenly fell and hit the floating island near Bright River. And the shining green objects are identified as the scorpion-tailed fly. Looking closer, it reveals the source is human. Driven by the obsession to slaughter all humans, they rush forward. At this moment, Goddess Sister panicked. Are you a pig, daring to enter any hole? Get out quickly! And at this moment, Bright River still hasn't recovered from the shock. You damn murderer, if you don't want to die, get out now. After he regained consciousness, He turned and ran towards the teleportation portal. Now Bright River has been spotted by many demons. The situation is rapidly becoming out of control. Goddess hurriedly ran out. She quickly unleashed Starlight Inferno, preparing to destroy Wormhole Well. After Bright River emerged, Wormhole Well also disappeared. On the other side of the forest, a few tentacles are causing trouble. Where should we head next? I didn't expect this female monster to have such a hobby. I saw her lift the body of Instructor Fong Qin and slowly say, "Let's merge." 3 minutes later, she successfully merged into Instructor Fong Qin's body. What does she want with this body? In the mist, there is a group of lost students. Just as they were wondering where to go, a figure appeared. They thought it was Instructor Fong Qin. It looks like they are saved. Little did they know this was just the beginning of a nightmare. She then opened her blood-filled mouth and bit directly near his neck. She then pulled out his large artery, tearing it directly, causing him to fall down. Everyone watched the scene in front of them and realized that this was definitely not Instructor Fong Qin, even though they were aware of the danger. But because their abilities were too weak, they could only be ruthlessly killed. After finally managing to escape 2 pursuers, they were tripped by a tree root. This root looks like it has been an actor for years. Another girl noticed. She quickly turned back and reached out to help her. But she wasn't able to walk quickly due to the scratch on her ankle. She left bloodstains on the road, and the female monster naturally noticed them. When its tentacles found the distance sufficient, it grabbed them in one swift motion. Upon seeing this, the two turned around to see that the female monster had already appeared behind them. She looked at the two prey with great excitement, feeling that there was nothing more interesting than slaughtering humans. Should she savor this human first, the larger one? After savoring the human, she vanished into the mist. At this moment, Loris in the camp noticed that Fong Qin's life signal had returned. She immediately called out and directed her to rendezvous with Bright River. The Black Silk sister behind her expressed disbelief.